What's up, guys? Happy 4th of July. Hope everyone still has all their fingers, toes, and other important bits. So, one of the things that we harp on a lot is culture. Culture is, for me, the make or break of a shop. Do we want a culture where we're going to be rewarded for volume, or do we want a culture where we're rewarded with quality? And we have, a drive to do it right once. Um, and there's a lot of different cultures out there. There's corporate culture that sucks. Um, from my experiences in it, it's volume driven, flat rate, maximum production. Who cares if it comes back? Who cares if it's right? Just get it out the door so we can get the money. Um, there is car counts the answer culture, which I think is trash. You need cars, but if you overload with too many cars, then you're just assembly lining to get as much crap out the door, half of which is probably coming back because it wasn't fixed right or it got put together incorrectly. And then there's the culture of quality. And that's the culture that I want to be a part of. But it goes deeper than that. There's culture is such a broad thing. Obviously the goals of the business and the staff defines the vision of the business. The owner may put it down on paper, but the staff is who executes it. The team is who executes it, and the owner sometimes is part of that. Sometimes they're not. Um, if they're an owner who drives a Miata and has 4 yachts, they're probably not directly executing it. But they need to. I know that owner has faith in his team that they're going to execute his vision, and they've been trained to do so, and they do. I feel very fortunate that I have an owner who's very open to a two-way discussion. Our culture is a blameless one. It is all about quality. Speed is unimportant within reason. Um, we don't let oil changes take 3 days. But at the end of the day, getting it done right is so much more important than getting it done quickly. Um, if the dealer part is 3 weeks out and I can get something from an aftermarket in a day, that car is going to be there for 3 weeks if it needs a dealer part. Is that every car? No. But there are certain cars that you just don't put aftermarket stuff in. Um, and I know what someone is going to say, and don't even go there. Don't even go there. I don't want to hear about aftermarket knock sensors. That is a sore spot, and that will incite violence. um, but we have a responsibility, and I've said it in almost every one of these videos. We have a responsibility to do the job correctly to a high standard. We have to inspire trust. And I don't think we do that when we steamroll volume or we push, production as the be all end all. We've got to treat the people like people. Cars are possessions. They don't have personalities. We can beat the hell out of them if we need to. We can't do that with clients. We have to understand their needs. We have to understand their goals. We have to understand their desired outcome. We have to seek to understand. I've been talking with, there's a handful of people that I talk to pretty regularly. One of them is a guy named Jawan Fields. We started talking a couple weeks ago, and he's really inspired me in a lot of ways, and it's rekindling a lot of things that I felt on and off throughout my career, but for the most part, I've always been driven to grow and driven to expand my skill set. Financial motivations are lower on my totem pole. And hearing somebody else with that same mentality is so refreshing and so comforting to know that I'm not just a complete freak in that sense. The rest is pretty debatable. But, you know, talking with him, I hear so much of myself, and it's really refreshing. I'm very fortunate with the relationships that I've made in this industry. I have a remarkable amount of access to a lot of people that are far more intelligent than I am. And if I get stuck, I can really easily reach out to a lot of people to help get me unstuck. Um, that's something that I think sometimes I take for granted. And hearing somebody who doesn't necessarily have that same breadth of resources and breadth of a network, it it really saddens me because it means that he's not getting to some of these events and he can't get to them, and that is immensely frustrating to me. That there are guys that want to learn and want to hit these events and want to grow, and for whatever reason they can't get to them. That makes me so angry I can't put words to it. The guys that want to be at these events, this the contrast to it. The guys who have training provided to them, that can't be bothered to show up, that sit there on their phone through a class, that fall asleep in a class. I mean, come on, guys. We have to train. We have to stay current. We have to evolve. Um, I've been through some of those classes that, I mean, yeah, there are guys that are just, I mean, they're better than Valium for putting you to sleep. Um, and a lot of that is knowing the trainer. Um, some of the best classes I've taken were very monotonous in their delivery. They weren't very lively, but they were phenomenal amounts of information. Um, and there were some classes that were lower level classes that I took more from than super high level classes for, JLR stuff or whatever it was. And I'm not calling out any JLR instructors. I'm not calling out any instructors. Um, but there's some guys that are just so engaging in their classes and so energetic and so passionate about what they do, they can't help but draw you in. Those are the guys I like to go to because it's interactive. All classes are interactive to a point. There's certainly some guys that aren't going to take questions till the end. They're not going to have that discussion. And there's some guys that it's a two-way conversation all the way through the class. Those classes are phenomenal because if you have a question, it gets answered right then when it's relevant. If you have that question, there is somebody else that has that question. But hearing guys that refuse to go to training, that just don't care, get the hell out. Make room for somebody who does. And hearing guys that want to go, that should be in these classes and should be growing and evolving, that simply can't get there for whatever reason, is so infuriating to me. Especially, and I'm talking to the guys that have been doing this a while, 10, 15, 20 years in this industry, you have a duty to be training the guys under you. You have an obligation to pass along your knowledge. Some of the stuff that we learned 15, 20, 25 years ago isn't being taught anymore, but it is so relevant and so important. Simple things. An incandescent test light, as opposed to an LED test light. LED test lights, yeah, they have a purpose. When I find out what I can do better with LED than incandescent, I'll let you know. But there's guys that have 15 LED test lights and can't find a short, can't find a break in a wire. They've never heard of a load test. Come on, it's simple things. But that's stuff that doesn't get taught anymore. I've never worked on a carburetor in the field. I want to learn about them, but there's nobody around to teach me. I can rebuild a race carb. I can tune a race carb. Wide open throttle is easy. Making it drive good, but just this old knowledge that's going away, that's still relevant. We need that. I know a lot of guys that don't know how to use a vacuum gauge to see if valves are working well. And, the guys in my shop know how to do that, but It's they were never taught that. I mean, there are guys that went through well-known trade schools that weren't taught that. But I mean, it's infuriating that some of these guys that need to be in these classes and want to be there, they can't get to them. It tears me up. Um, I wish I could do more to help them. I wish I could do more to get them to some of this stuff so they can make the progress they deserve to make. If somebody wants knowledge, Jesus, give it to them. Give them the knowledge, give them the tools, give them the ability to grow. Um, I think we owe that to the people that were coming through our doors. We deserve to be the best technicians they're ever going to see. And that's everywhere. Wherever you are, you deserve, your clients deserve the best they can get. Um, the only way we do that is through knowledge, through networking, through the things that happen at those events. The classes are good. The best part of those events is networking. That's what sets that apart from all the virtual training, everything else. The network opportunities, getting to know people, getting to expand the circle. You can't pay for that. I mean, there's not enough money in the world to buy that. Take care of yourself, guys. Have a great week.